1770, Captain Cook discovered Australia. 60 years later, the city of Sydney, capital of New South Wales, had grown on the edge of 3 million square miles of unknown land. The colony exported raw material. It imported material even more raw. Prisoners, many of them unjustly convicted, who were to be shaped into the pioneers of a great dominion. In 1831, King William has sent a new governor to rule the colony. And now our story begins.
Shoulder arms!
As the accredited representative of His Gracious Majesty, King William, to express to you His Majesty's loyal and beloved subjects, His Majesty's warm interest in the progress and welfare of your community. Gentlemen, I know very little of your country. You know very little of me. Some of you have no very good record in the past.
Have I the honor of addressing the Honorable Charles Adare?
Yes. Who are you?
Potter's my name, sir. Cedric Potter. I'm the manager of the Bank of New South Wales. We learned that you are arriving in the governor's entourage. We shall be glad to do anything we can for you, sir. Anything we can.
This is an odd place to do business.
This, sir? Not at all, sir. You'll find us unconventional, perhaps, but we get things done very rapidly.
I'm sure you do.
I've had clients working the chain gang in January and drinking champagne by July. Extraordinary changes of fortune you will see here, sir.
No doubt.
I can be a very good friend.
You must give me time to settle down before we talk business. I'll call on you tomorrow.
You are staying at Government House?
Yes.
You are second cousin to the governor?
Yes, I am, yes.
A very interesting relationship. Then I may look forward to seeing you.
Tomorrow at 11?
Admirable, sir. Admirable.
Oh, look, he's just finishing. I must join you.
Gentlemen, I have no more to say, except that I'm greatly obliged to you for your welcome.
What about a song, Governor?
Not a very warm welcome.
The climate's making up for that.
Well, Wellington used to say he didn't give a rap to the cheers he got before a battle. They don't know what they're in for yet.
This way, sir.
Ah, you have then some business experience.
Absolutely none.
Oh.
I am a youngest son, you see, and the youngest son of an Irish peer into a very bad bargain. I ought to be able to ride and shoot, I suppose, but I'm rather short-sighted and I hate horses. It's unfortunate, isn't it?
Very. Come in.
Mr. Flusky to see you, Mr. Potter.
Oh, ask him if he wouldn't mind waiting a few minutes. Tell him I'm engaged with the governor's cousin.
Flusky. Flusky, that's a curious name. It seems to ring a bell somewhere. Musky, Rusky, Dusky. Who is he?
One of our most admirable citizens. A large landowner. He has made some most profitable investments. Rather a financial genius in his way. He owns the best stud in the colony, and he works like a galley slave. That is to say, he works very hard.
Flusky. Flusky. Where the devil have I heard that name before? Well, so you can't tell me how to get rich.
Well, really, only by hard work, Mr. Adare.
Well, I shall have to ask somebody else. I must ask your friend, Mr. Flusky. How did he start?
Well, sir, it's rather a long story. And to tell you the truth, in this country, we don't talk too much about the past history of our successful men.
Oh, an ex-convict. What do you call him? An emancipist, is he?
Well, yes, sir, an emancipist.
What did he serve his time for? Bank robbery, or was he just a murderer?
Stop, Mr. Adare, stop. We do not discuss such matters in Sydney. A man's past is his own business. Out here, we let bygones be bygones.
Oh, can you do that? It's a thing we never learn to do in Ireland. I'm always bumping into bygones. How about, will you introduce me to him?
Well, sir, if you wish it, but...
Be careful what I say.
Mr. Flusky, sir. Mr. Flusky, sir, will you be good enough to step this way? Mr. Flusky, let me present you to the Honorable Charles Adare. He is a cousin of His Excellency the Governor. He has come to Sydney to make his fortune.
Has he? Pleased to meet you. I hope you told him he can't find fortunes like fleas in a blanket.
Yes, I told him that, Mr. Flusky.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a flea. Are they difficult to pick up?
Depends on how quick you are.
Now I come to think of it, fleas have a great reputation for agility in my part of the country.
What country may that be?
Ireland, the west of Ireland.
Ireland. What did you say your name was?
Adare?
Hmm.
Do you know the west country?
I might. So you want to make money. You're not the only one. How much have you got to start with?
Not enough to impress Mr. Potter.
Are you one of the Adares of Killarley?
Yes. Lord Killarley is my father. Do you know him?
Well, Mr. Adare, perhaps you could give me a little time to think over how I can best advise you. If you dropped in tomorrow,
I'm going
say the
your
next
way.
day.
If you come with me, I may be able to tell you a thing or two. I shan't be a minute. I've something to get from the cashier. I'll see you another time, Mr. Potter.
Mr. Adare, sir. He's a strange character, Mr. Adare, a strange character. He seems to have taken a fancy to you. I hope you won't mind if I give you one word of advice. If he asks you to his house, don't go.
Why not?
A gentleman in your position can't be too careful.
Ready now, Mr. Adare. Like me to tell you what he said?
I don't quite follow.
Old Flusky asked you to his house. Don't go. That's it, isn't it?
I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention, I'm afraid.
Pay attention to me. Bring the horse. You want to make some money? There's a bit of land for sale, going for £1,000. I want you to buy it.
I myself want to buy a great many things, Mr. Flusky. Unfortunately, I have no money.
Potter will make you a short-term loan. I'll buy the land straight away from you for a good deal more than you paid for it.
If I hear it right, Mr. Flusky, you're proposing to give me a considerable sum of money.
It's worth my while.
Why?
Simple enough. I bought all the land from the Crown. The law allows. There's nothing against a private deal.
That sounds delightful. Forgive me, I'm still a little puzzled. Why are you offering me this admirable investment?
I might have my reasons, and I might not. This is the Crown Lands Office. I have a bit of business in here. Come in if you like and file your application. Save time.
Here you are, just on the minute as usual. I've got some grazing for your new sheep.
Never mind that now. How about my secretary?
I've got one for you, and he can read and write. Says he's a gentleman.
How long is he in for?
5 years.
Let's have a look at it.
Went up.
Open your mouth. Arms like chicken legs. Can you keep accounts?
Oh, yes, sir.
Is that what you're in for?
I don't quite understand you, sir.
Silly in the head, are you? Was it embezzlement?
No, sir. In point of fact,
He got a girl into trouble.
It wasn't quite like that, sir. You see, her father wouldn't let her marry me, and I...
You'll get nobody into trouble around my place. What's your name again?
Winter, sir. If you take me on, I'll do my best. I promise you that's on my word of honor.
Words of honor from young gentlemen aren't very good currency around here. If you don't do your best, you go back to jail. Deal, Bill.
You're in luck, my lad. If you treat Mr. Flusky right, he'll treat you right. But if you don't... You see that?
Yes, sir.
It's a pink slip. If we put your name on that, you're a convict again. Understand?
Send him around to my house. Those laboring men you sent me won't do. One was a horse thief and the other a murderer. Sooner trust a tiger snake than a horse thief, and I won't have murderers in my house. I'll fill out their pink slips. Send a guard to collect them.
Well, if you say so.
So you don't like horse thieves?
No, I don't.
Nor murderers?
No. Here's your application.
Yeah, there, lady. Keep the old girl waiting. What do you think of her?
She's much of a temper?
She's got the temper of the devil himself.
Yeah. Mr. Flusky. Is that a human head?
Shrunken one. There's a trade in that sort of thing here, forbidden by law.
Got you for the son of an old shark, you murderer, you.
Mr. Flusky.
Come around to my place tomorrow, will you? Any driver will tell you where it is. We dine at 6:30.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I think perhaps we're being a little hasty.
What's that?
Well, I don't really think I could dream of troubling you.
Why not?
Well, you see, I haven't had time to get acquainted. I mean, I should...
It's money you need. Here's 100. You can take up the option with that. We'll talk about the Mayan deal tomorrow.
Mr. Adare, sir?
Well?
His Excellency's compliments, and he would be glad if you would have a word with him in his private apartments.
Real pleasure. Where's His Excellency?
Through there, sir.
Who is it?
Charles.
Oh, come in, my dear fellow. Make yourself comfortable. Help yourself to a drink.
Thank you, Lord.
Now, where was I, Banks? You'll excuse me, Charlie, won't you?
Yes, of course.
His Excellency accordingly feels bound to draw his worship's attention to...
Attention to what?
You didn't say so.
Oh, yes. Tell him the approach to the docks is the filthiest sight I've ever seen. Tell him I don't like old barrels and cartwheels and cabbage leaves and dead cats. And tell him to move quickly or I'll have the skin off his back.
His worship's attention to the fact that the sanitary conditions of the harbour leave much to be desired.
Yes, that's the kind of thing. Write it down.
His worship...
No, but not out loud. I want to talk to Mr. Adare. No, don't go. Had a busy day?
Yes, thank you. Quite busy.
Been to the bank?
Yes.
What do they think of your prospect?
Not much.
Now, look here, Charles. I hope you're going to try hard this time. Now, where is that soap? Oh, no, it's all right. I've got it.
I had a chat with one of the local magnates.
Oh, that's good. Get to know the natives. Who was it?
A man named Flusky.
You know him, Banks?
Well, yes, sir. Yes, I know him.
Something wrong with him?
No, sir. He's a very honest man in his way. He's had a brush or two with Mr. Corrigan, of course.
Who's Mr. Corrigan?
The Attorney General, sir, you remember?
Yes, of course.
But everybody has trouble with him. That's nothing against Mr. Flusky.
Well, is he received at Government House? Socially, I mean.
Oh, no, sir. Emphatically not.
Mr. Potter, the manager of the bank, says he's an emancipist.
You mean he's a convict?
Not now, no.
Look here, Charles. Oh. After all, I mean to say, you're my cousin. I hope nobody saw you speaking to him.
I'm dining with him tomorrow.
What did this Flusky do?
Oh, he was very amiable. He talked about Crown land, mainly.
You know perfectly well what I mean. What was his crime?
I haven't the slightest idea. They tell me it's shocking bad manners to ask questions out here.
Thanks.
With very deep respect, sir, may I venture to remark that Mr. Adare is quite right. It is the custom here, after a man has served his term as a guest of His Majesty, never to inquire into his antecedents. That is, unless he puts himself once again within the reach of the law.
Flusky. Odd name. I've heard it before somewhere.
I thought that too.
Oh, never mind.
In actual fact, I believe he's quite a rich man, Your Excellency.
Flusky. Had something to do with some woman or other. Well, he can't be the same man. Throw over those towels, thanks. That's right. Thank you. Now, come with me. I want you to take some notes while I'm dressing. I'll see you at dinner, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Get out of that dinner tomorrow, Charles. You can't be too careful. It might be awkward for me. It won't do you any good. No good at all. That's an order, Charles.
I expect they'll find you something to eat in the kitchen.
No, sir. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather go back to Sydney.
All that way?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind. To tell you the honest truth, sir, I don't like this place.
Oh, why not? Looks a very handsome establishment.
There's nothing much the matter with its looks. There's something queer about that place. You see what I mean?
Oh, I better don't.
Well, sir, I can only say I don't like it. Not to hang about for any length of time. What time shall I come back for you?
Oh, call for me at 10. In Yargo Gilla. What does that mean?
Why weepest thou?
It's your business to see that the ladies get a swell dinner. Give them something to talk about.
Ladies?
Of course there'll be ladies, haven't I just told you? Winter, you've had dinner with the knobs in your day. You're sure everything's all right?
Oh, yes, Mr. Flusky. I've arranged for some rather good wine. I've decanted a good
You take
claret.
care of that. I know nothing about it.
Would you like me to ask Madame whether...
You'll ask me, Mr. Winter. Never mind about Madam. I run this house.
Settle it between yourselves.
Now, what's the matter?
This little slattern said I was put away for kidnapping.
So you were. Stop sniveling and tidy yourself. You've to open the front door and serve the Madeira.
Give them their pink slips. Send the lot back to the Crown Office and get a new bunch.
I can manage them.
Oh, good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I was trying to find my way in. Good evening, Mr. Flusky. Your front doorbell wouldn't ring, so I had to come round this way. And very strange thing.
Glad to see you. We'll go through the dining room if you don't mind.
Good-looking collie there.
Quite a party you're having tonight, Mr. Flusky.
Winter.
Yes, sir?
Mrs. Flusky. You should know better.
Good evening, Mr. Rigg. Good evening, Mrs. Smiley.
Good evening.
Oh. May I introduce the Reverend Mr. Smiley, Mr. Rigg, our resident engineer.
Mrs. Smiley bid me tell you how distressed she was to be unable to accept your kind invitation. She isn't very well, you know, and Mrs. Rigg most generously offered to sit with her for the evening.
That's right. My wife is most disappointed. I think you know, Mr. Flusky, that Mrs. Rigg is very partial to a life of gaiety.
Follow me, gentlemen.
I trust your wife's indisposition isn't serious.
Oh, no, indeed, sir, no. Mrs. Smiley is not very strong, but she has remarkable powers of recuperation. I find it difficult to express, Mr. Flusky, the deep appreciation which the Church feels at your gift of the baptismal font. Be perfectly assured the Lord will bless the giver.
And how do you like Sydney, Mr. Adare?
Oh, I like it very much. I admire in particular the bandicoot, the rock wallaby, and the duck-billed platypus. Don't take this preference as implying any dedication of the spiny anteater, the cockatoo, or even the frilled lizard. There's always the kangaroo, Mr. Rigg, always the kangaroo.
I didn't mean that exactly. I meant the society.
Is there any?
Well, maybe not much. Nice town, but not much society in it. I never think of these things, but it's hard on the wife. Is the governor going to entertain much?
I haven't a notion.
I hope you'll bear the name Rigg in mind. Rigg's the name. Mrs. Rigg. She's a lady, you know.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
A refined woman finds time hang heavy on her hands in a place like this. I'd like you to meet her.
And I should be enraptured to meet Mrs. Rigg.
Refinement counts for a lot, but it's a handicap in a way.
Yes, it must be. Does it? Ah, my dear sir, how are you? Mrs. Wilkins sends her sincerest compliments. She's quite heartbroken. A terrible disappointment. She's absolutely prostrate, one of her headache. It's very much on my conscience that I had to leave her, but I absolutely had to meet your distinguished guest.
Mr. Wilkins.
There seems to be a grave epidemic among the ladies of this city.
Well, sir, it's difficult to be.
Mr. Adare, this is Major Wilkins. He's the commandant of the prison.
Most happy to meet you. And how does the governor find himself after his voyage from England?
In excellent health, thanks.
That's good, that's good. He won't remember me, but I was assistant provost marshal when he was on Wellington's staff. I do hope he's going to inspect the prison soon. It's a disgrace to the colony. I wouldn't keep a pig in my quarters.
Are you a connoisseur of pigs?
What? Oh, no. I don't want to keep pigs. I leave that to the Irish. Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. You're an Irishman yourself, aren't you?
Yes.
And so's the governor, isn't he?
Yes.
A great race, fine body of men, great gentlemen, great soldiers. I do hope you'll drop a word to Sir Richard about the prison. It really is a scandal.
Well, my cousin is most interested in scandals. I'm sure you'll find him sympathetic.
Flusky, I was terribly distressed. I hardly dare look you in the face. But unfortunately, my wife was detained at the last moment. Mr. Adare, I presume. I am Dr. McAllister.
How do you do?
I'm late, I'm afraid. Sorry my wife couldn't come. Detained at the last moment.
I understand perfectly. Mr. Corrigan, the Attorney General. Mr. Adare.
Honor. How do you do?
I had the honor to meet your father once when I was on circuit. He wouldn't remember me.
Miss Billy.
Young fellow at the time.
Oh, I'm sure he'd remember you.
Was I right?
Not a blasted one. Where is she?
I'll go up and see.
Don't let her come down.
I won't. You'd better stop. Dinner's served.
You're a father yourself, perhaps?
No.
Bring your wine in with you. Dinner's ready. We may as well get it over, Mr. Adare.
Charming fellow, the governor. I had quite an interesting chat.
Follow me, gentlemen.
I told him a very funny story about a fellow.
How is our patient? I hope she's sleeping better.
Well enough.
Guy laughed. Oh, great sense of humor. A good soldier.
My wife sends her apologies.
Nonsense about it.
Apologies seem to be in the air tonight. You'll find your place cards. Well, we all needn't sit here like a row of milestones. Move down to this end, please.
Would you wish me to say grace now, Mr. Flusky?
Eh? Yes, please.
Bountiful Jehovah, we thank thee for thy mercies which we are about to receive. Mercifully grant that we, by them being nourished, may be better enabled to perform all duty and service due unto thy divine will. Amen.
I suppose you're having a mail. I beg your pardon, Major. Well, I was about.
Please be seated, gentlemen. I hope I'm not too late to take a glass of wine with you.
My wife, gentlemen. Lady Henrietta Flusky.
Sit down. Please sit down. I'm sorry, but I didn't hear your name.
Adare.
Please forgive me. I'm so stupid. But ought I to know you?
I don't think so, Lady Henrietta. I was only a boy when we met last.
Where did I meet you? Adare. Then you must be young Charlie. How very strange.
Yes, Lady Hattie. I'm Charlie.
Yes, I remember you now. You were the only Adare who was a bad horseman. Your sister Diana brought you over one day, and you lamed my favorite hunter. Sam never forgave you.
May I pour you some wine?
No. No, thank you. I married Sam Flusky, but that must have been a long time after. How is your dear sister Diana? I never write to her, haven't for years.
Oh, she's very well. She's married.
Did she marry the Frenchman?
Yes.
Quite right. Only two people in the world know about these things. The man and the woman. Nobody knows about Sam and me, except... I'm afraid I'm not very well. Will you give me your arm, Charlie? You'll forgive me, gentlemen, won't you? It has been delightful to see you. Sam, don't move. Stay with your guests. I shall be all right. Sam, I insist Mr. Adare and I are very old friends. Very old friends. Thank you, Charlie. That was very good of you. Now I have the balustrade. Good old balustrade.
Mr. Adare!
Yes?
Come, please. Come quickly.
You'd better go.
Have you got your pistol?
Yes.
Bring it up here, please, quickly. In there, on the end of my bed.
Where did you say it was?
There, on my bed. You can see it quite plainly. It won't move.
It won't worry you anymore.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm very much obliged to you, Charlie. You've been most kind. Good night.
You're bothered by rats, I see.
Yes, pink rats.
Every man to his taste. The color is immaterial. There are rats in New South Wales. Yes, I remember it well. I was only a youngster at the time, but my aunts used to giggle about it. The drawing of a teeter. It was a cause célèbre.
Of what?
Oh, they gossiped about it for a while.
I'm not surprised. I was only the groom.
Yes, they thought that very amusing.
I started as a stable boy. I've been with the Considines for years. I was like one of the family. They're an easygoing lot in Ireland. I taught her to ride. It would have done your heart good to see her on a horse. And the courage of her. She'd go at a fence like it had the kingdom of heaven on the other side of it. That's the kind of girl she was. That's the kind of girl she is. But she wasn't at her best tonight.
No.
I would no more have thought of making love to her than if she'd been a blessed angel. You know how it is. She had a reckless strain in her, and I had a bit of the devil in me, too. There was bound to be trouble, and trouble there was, all right. I'm wearying you.
No, please go on.
The people were determined to get me, and get me they did. We needn't go into how they did. I was lucky to escape the gallows. But I got 7 years transportation. You'd think that would have finished it, but it didn't. She sold all she had and followed me out here.
What did she do then?
She waited. I kept my eyes open while I was in there. I didn't take long in making money. I'd meant to make it up to her, you see, for all she'd been through. But it didn't work out that way. We weren't the same people, the two of us, after all those years. There was nothing to talk about that we wanted to talk about. What is it they say in the Bible? Great gulf fixed. It's that way somehow. I had my work, of course, but she had nothing. You see, she missed her own sort. That was the trouble. We never mentioned it. A fella can't help thinking. Not that it matters now. I just wish I knew what to do.
Why don't you send her home? A while. That crowd.
You know why I asked you here tonight?
No, I'd very much like to know.
I thought the local ladies would tumble over each other to meet the governor's cousin. Perhaps it's just as well they didn't come. I thought that she might pull herself together. If she could meet even some imitations of her own sort. I can get all the gentlemen I want. Gentlemen. I can buy gentlemen in packets of a dozen.
I suppose that's why you gave me £100.
Oh, no, sir. That's different. I know a proper gentleman when I see one.
I'm afraid you didn't get your money's worth tonight.
No, that's different, I tell you. It wasn't your fault that women didn't come. You treated Hattie right. I appreciate that. No, sir, the deal still stands.
I'm not altogether certain about that deal. Are you sure it's quite legal?
Of course it is. There's nothing to prevent you selling your own land once it's yours. It's in the letter of the law.
How about the spirit?
It's got nothing to do with me. Let Millie go. Good girl, Millie. Don't know what we'd have done without her. She's got away with Hattie.
We've got to do something about it.
We?
Oh, I know it's none of my business, but she used to be a friend of my sister's.
She did seem to take to you.
I think she might listen to me.
I think she would. Maybe there's some hope after all.
Well, may I drive over and see her now and again?
I could get her interested in riding again, maybe. And clothes. Women like new clothes. We could drive into Sydney. If you could get her talking about old times, it might help. You never know. Yes, sir. I think she took a fancy to you.
Oh, well, you must remember, we come from the same part of the country. Like it up, that's it. You're not Irish yourself, are you? Your father was.
Millie, why are you so slow?
Days ago, I gave you definite orders. I told you not to go to this man's house. Now I hear that you disobeyed me. You took part in an unsavory debauch with the scum of the convict colony.
Mr. Corrigan was there, too?
Where Mr. Corrigan goes is his own business.
I've no doubt he has business here today.
What do you mean?
I mean, I resent his being here.
You do you?
Yes, very much.
Mr. Corrigan is my legal advisor. He's come to help me with a devilish tricky problem, and of your making, sir. Is this your signature?
Yes, Richard, that is my signature.
Don't Richard me. Say sir when you speak to me.
All right, sir, don't get excited.
Excited? Do you know that you've taken a bit of government land, and you haven't got a brass farthing to pay for it?
I'm only too well aware of the facts, sir.
In the name of all the suffering saints, assuming for one moment that you get possession of this land, will you be good enough to inform me what you intend to do with it?
I was thinking of trying my hand at sheep farming.
Sheep farming? Black sheep farming? Are you aware that this lot is in the center of the city?
Oh, that seems a rather interesting point, doesn't it?
And do you propose to pasture your sheep on the pavement?
That would be rather awkward, wouldn't it?
Well, it's quite obvious to me that you've got yourself mixed up with some very shady people. Corrigan tells me that your Mr. Flusky keeps on the right side of the law. He's wise to do that. Now, look here, Charles. You are my Aunt Clary's boy, and I'm quite prepared to overlook a little foolishness for her sake. But I will not have Government House turned into a clearinghouse for tricky finance. If you let me tear up this application, I'll let bygones be bygones. If not, well, I wash my hands of you and you can get out of here.
If I weren't your Aunt Clary's boy, you'd have to authorize the sale of this land.
Well, I suppose so.
Right, initial it or whatever you have to do, and I'll get out of here.
Where do you propose to live?
I don't know, but I'm sure Mr. Flusky would accommodate me at Minyago Ugilla.
At where?
Minyago Ugilla. It's a luxurious, well-appointed mansion. The name means, why weepest thou? Or why makes a devil of a fuss about nothing?
Yes, that's Flusky's house, sir.
Yes, I know. And Mr. Corrigan has given me some information about your Mr. Flusky. He's the blackguard who eloped with Hattie Considine. He was their stable boy or something, and there's worse to come. It was hushed up at the time, but he murdered her brother Dermot in cold blood. If he'd had justice, he'd have been hanged like a dog. As it was, the jury brought in culpable homicide, and he was transported for 7 years. Well, there's your friend. And he's still got the reputation of being a violent brute. That's right, Corrigan?
That's right, Your Excellency.
Charles, you don't know this place. You must think and think again. You must think of my position.
There's nothing the matter with your position. And I've done all the thinking I'm going to do. Good morning.
Charles, it's good to have you here. Get a breath of the old country. I'm grateful to you for that, for many other things.
Oh, I'm grateful, too. It's pleasant to be gathering shamrocks at the other end of the world.
I said many other things. You were very good to me on the night of that dreadful dinner party.
Oh, nonsense.
I remember very little of it. I wasn't well.
I know. You're extremely drunk.
No one has ever said that to me before.
That is a great pity.
Yes. But there was no one.
Didn't Sam tell you?
I don't think you understand about Sam and me. So many things have happened to us. So many things we dare not talk about. My weakness became part of it.
You need help, don't you?
It's all too late. Those 7 years. I once thought that after all the suffering we could be happy. It wasn't so. When Sam came out, we lost each other. I'm no good now, Charles, no good at all.
You mustn't talk like that.
I'd hoped so high that everything burned out of me. I lived on my will, and my will is exhausted.
Oh, you mustn't even think like that.
Did I make a terrible exhibition of myself at the party? When was it? I don't even remember dressing. It's like one of those silly dreams. Was I dressed?
More or less. That's the first time I've seen you smile.
You're very kind to me.
No, it's you who are kind. You took me in like a stray dog, and I must earn my board and lodging. I'm determined to do that. We Irish must make a better impression on the colony.
We?
Well, you are. I don't matter. You have an extraordinary effect upon me, Lady Hattie. I spent most of my life warding off boredom. Look at me now. I'm boiling with enthusiasm. We must do a great many things. We'll sail in the bay, and you must ride. Sam says you're a superb horsewoman. I believe him. You must look lovely on the horse.
It is no use, I tell you. I can't.
And you must learn to run your own house. Let me see, what do ladies do? You must order the dinner.
Oh, Millie does all that.
And you should be punctual and beautifully dressed. You'll spend your mornings looking to the linen or whatever it is one gets to in the mornings.
Millie looks after her. I told you I'm finished. I tried before, for Sam's sake, but that's no use. Oh, look at me. Don't you think I can see myself through and through?
Can you?
Of course I can.
Do you ever look into a mirror?
I have no mirror eyes. I put them away years ago.
What do you see? You saw what I see. You saw a very beautiful woman. What are you going to do with her? I'll buy you a new mirror. It'll be your conscience. You look into it every day and say to yourself, Sister Hattie, Sister Hattie, do you see anybody coming? And the mirror will answer, yes, by George, it's yourself. Riding to beat back the shadows and be queen again in your own kingdom. I felt as though somebody walked over my grave.
Oh, it's only Millie.
I don't think she likes me very much.
She's a wonderful woman. She's devoted to Sam. She's very kind to me.
Faith, and she's an ordinary, decent-looking woman, but she gave me a look that would scare the gashes off the devil himself.
What's funny?
Oh, I don't know. Something made us laugh.
So you've got it back on this, huh?
Who is that?
What do you mean?
Is that the reflection of Lady Henrietta Considine, or is it not?
It looks like her.
I'm proud of you, my dear.
Sure.
Why not? It was a respectful tribute to your reincarnation.
It wasn't very respectful.
Well, it was intended to be.
Why should you respect me?
Because you're a great lady again. You promised to be mistress in your own house. The first work of art I've ever done. And it's wonderfully beautiful.
I've tried, Charles, haven't I?
Yes, we haven't finished yet. We've only just begun. Let me see what's next. Where are the keys?
Millie has them.
Millie? Who does Millie think she is? The keys belong to the mistress of the house. You must wear them. They'll clink as you walk and give you confidence. Let me see. What's the first battle? I know. The kitchen.
Millie would be furious if I went out in the kitchen.
Well, make her furious. You must give the orders. You must give all the orders. Remember that. I've an idea. Let's put it to a tune. Who gives the orders in Flusky's house? Flusky's house, Flusky's house.
Oh, Charles, what would I do without you?
Well, you must do without me now. Now, off you go to the kitchen.
Come with me. You're a gentleman, aren't you?
Yes, I suppose so.
A gentleman can keep his mouth shut. That's why I didn't have one of the women. Less than usual. She's got something new to interest her now.
Don't argue with me. Which will use the cook. What is the matter with these people? They began cackling like parakeets and then they suddenly fell silent.
They're an ignorant lot. I'll take care of them.
No. No, after this I want you to consult me about everything. Everything. I have left too much on your shoulders. I shall come here every morning. No. No, I want you to come to my room every morning to get your instructions for the day. Now, I would like to see the linen cupboard. You have the key?
So that's the way of it, is it?
Yes. Will you kindly give me your keys?
Bound to be difficult going. But we must go on.
No good, I tell you, no good. You'd better give up. She's done for.
Oh, don't talk like that, sir. Can't you see how hard she's been trying?
You've seen more of her than I have.
Oh, good heavens, Flusky. And you want me to see her? Talk to her? Don't make too much of this. She's coming back, I tell you.
Doesn't look like it tonight. She's bolted the door before and stayed there weeks on end.
But Sam, tonight's different. She's on her way to find herself, and we've got to do something.
Tell you it's no good. I don't say things for fun.
Look, Sam, I'm not quite clear what went wrong in the kitchen today, but I think Miss Miller's to blame.
You don't know what Miss Miller has to put up with. Tell thank you to keep your mouth shut about that.
None of my business.
None of your business.
But it's still my business to help Hattie, and I'm going to do it.
Do what you like.
Hattie! Hattie!
Not a sound. I told you so. Not even for you.
But I'm not done yet. Hattie, I'm coming up for you. Hattie. Hattie? Hattie.
I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you ever again. I couldn't do what you told me. Go back home and tell them I died.
They're talking now.
Go back to Ireland. I'll leave Hattie Flusky in this beautiful place. This beautiful room.
I don't think much of it. Come on now. I must get up.
Oh, what should I be getting up for now? I mean no good to any living soul. Well, I'm on my head and my heels.
Well, that's better, isn't it?
No, it's not better.
Yes, it is. Ever so much better. You're standing on your feet. You must always stand on your feet. You must never give way.
Oh, I am no credit to you, Dorrit.
Yes, you are. At least you will be. I've never been serious about anything in my life before, but I'm serious now. You must have courage.
I had courage long ago, but I lost it. No, this is all wrong. This is not the way of it at all. I'll do my best, but this is not the way of it. My best isn't much good.
Yes, it is.
You know what happened in the kitchen? Oh. I couldn't take control. Amelia was right. I'll be the ruination of this house within a week. I wanted to give you a beautiful dinner. How good I can't do anything anymore. I can't remember anything.
Then you must remember. Can you remember the west wind coming up, Violette? Can you fill your eyes with the greens and purples of the place you were born? The gorse is still there on the hillside. Can you feel the turf pounding under your horse's hooves? And go to sleep and dream about it. Now, ring the bell for Millie to put you to bed. Tomorrow we'll ride down to the bay. One sea is much like another, and it'll help to remind you.
You're very good to me, Joe.
Not I. It's all for the honor of Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
Come in. There you are. Will you help Lady Henrietta to bed, please?
It looks like it's your job.
What the devil do you mean? Impertinent.
I can't help it, Mr. Flusky. I've got to say what's on my mind. Mr. Flusky, your lady's a big enough handful without interference in my work. I've nothing against her, poor soul. But she should have kept out of my kitchen. What she does elsewhere is none of my business. There'll be no harm in you keeping your eyes open, no harm at all.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were busy.
No, come on in.
I've said my say. I won't have meddling. I won't stand that, not from anybody.
What's all this about?
Those who put ideas into her head had better stop it for everybody's sake, and those the cap fits can wear it.
Just a moment. I think you ought to hear what I'm going to say, Sam. I'm beginning to understand something about this household. Last night...
Yes, last night. I could tell you a thing or two about last night.
You could tell a very great deal, my dear Harriet.
If either of you has anything to say, say it.
Mr. Flusky, I suppose you know what was the matter with your wife last night. She went into her own kitchen to be met with some act of calculated and brutal rudeness.
That man was in her room last night and the door locked. The two of them alone and half her clothes off. That's rudeness for you, if you like.
What did you say to her in the kitchen?
I turned her out. Well, I've told that to Mr. Flusky. He's got a right to question me. You've none. Who do you think you are, anyway?
I beg your pardon, sir.
It's not so much what she said. You see, I happened to be there and...
Oh, he was there, all right. And he comes as bold as brass and dumps a load of bottles on the table. Her ladyship knew where they came from, all right. You talked to him about rudeness.
Mr. Adare, it wasn't like that at all. You're a gentleman. You must understand.
Blast all, gentlemen. Get out of here. You too, Miss Miller.
I'm getting out. I wouldn't stay another hour in this house. If you can put up with such goings-on, that's your business.
You're well rid of her.
Shan't get along too well without her.
You'll get on without her like a house on fire. She's a bad lot. All that talk was meant to cover her retreat.
Was it?
But of course it was. Surely you don't think...
I don't know what to think.
May I ask what you mean by that?
I've only your word against hers.
You may accept mine.
Because you're a gentleman? So's Winter a gentleman. All stand together. Against the outside, the trash, and the scum of the world. Against Sam Flusky, for one. The common servant. The old convict. Then there's my wife, too. She's a lady. Ladies and gents look at things their own way. Well, maybe Miss Millie and I look at them another.
You said I gave you hope. Have you given it up?
Not yet.
And listen to me, not to spiteful gabble.
But Millie's been here for years.
If it's only Millie's gossip that's bothering you, we may as well shake hands. I must have misunderstood you.
Like enough you did.
Goodbye, Mr. Flusky. And I'll pray. I'll pray to the Lord that your eyes may be opened.
Bye.
Well, what shall I do about breakfast?
What about it?
Well, you see, Miss Millie looked after these things, and there's women in the kitchen. Would you like to ask Lady Henrietta?
She never gets up before midday. Anyhow, what would she do with that crazy crowd? See to it yourself.
Very well, sir. I'll do what I can.
Sam, where's Millie gone?
She's left us.
Why?
How do I know?
Oh, but she can't. She mustn't. But you must bring her back.
You know her. She's made up her mind.
Oh, but Sam, this is dreadful. There must be some reason.
Good morning, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. I've got my mail from Government House, and there isn't a writ or a tradesman's bill. It's a wonderful morning. What's the matter?
Millie's gone.
I just said it was a wonderful morning. I'll go further. It's a perfect morning.
But I can't do without her.
Mr. Adare says you can.
Indeed, you must.
I'm very much afraid, sir, you'll have to speak to them yourself.
Who gives the orders in Flusky's house?
Have a lot of them back to Sydney tonight.
Sam, I'll go.
Oh, Lady Henrietta, should you?
Quiet, you.
So I says to him, it's me kind heart that took me down, Paul, and that's the truth, it is. The woman follows her heart, she follows the road to ruin. Where does she keep it, I'd like to know? Is it gin you're looking for? Oh, she don't keep it.
That high-born hussy upstairs, she keeps flushing it down as fast as it comes in the house. And I don't blame her.
Did you see what I did just now?
Yes.
Do you know what it means? After today, nobody will be beaten in this house. You understand that?
Yes.
Say yes, my lady.
Yes, my lady.
If you wish to stay here, you may. But there are 3 things I don't like. Noise, fighting, and stealing. If I find any of these 3 things, I shall send you back to prison. Is that understood?
Yes.
My lady. What is your name?
Susan, ma'am. But I answers to Crumpet.
Why do they call you Crumpet?
Because I'm balmy, ma'am. Balmy on the crumpet is the saying, yeah?
After this, you'll answer to Susan.
Yes, ma'am. My lady.
Which of you is the cook?
Oh, I mostly do, Mum.
She's a liar, Mum. Don't you believe her. I'm the cook. She's naught but a murderer.
Quiet! Can Aunt Martha here cook?
Me, ma'am? Oh, no can.
Very good. You 3 make the breakfast. I want coffee, toast, eggs, and bacon. 3 separate breakfasts. Each of you will make 1 breakfast, and the one who does best will be the cook.
Oh, yes, Mum. Yes, my lady.
Good, good. No noise and no fighting. And now begin.
Yes, Mum. Yes. Give me that. Now, that's mine.
Charles, shall I?
Oh, by the way, I have a bit of news for you. At the request of His Excellency the Governor, Sam Flusky, Esquire, and Lady Henrietta Flusky are invited to the Irish Society Ball at Government House on January the 24th.
Not much like that kind of joke.
It isn't a joke. I picked up my mail at Government House.
I don't understand. Sam and I are not on the invitation list at Government House.
Must
never invite an ex-convict to Government House.
My worthy cousin has a way of doing as he likes. It runs in the family. You've got to go.
Charles, you heard what my husband said just now. I agree with him.
Wish Hattie could go. Show him. We could dance that new dance in France. Do you know the waltz, Lady Henrietta? So seductive yet so truly respectable.
Oh, don't be so stupid. They danced it in Ireland before I left.
And you know how to waltz?
I used to.
Settles it.
No.
What did I hear you say? No? No woman of fashion ever says no. And what did the governor say with his invitation flung back in his face? You've got to show Mrs. Wig, Mrs. Tig, Mrs. Rig, and Mrs. Fig how a real lady behaves. You owe it to the poor wretches.
I've got nothing to wear.
Oh, we'll get you something, won't we, Sam?
We'll get you something, all right.
If it's all settled.
No, don't talk about it anymore.
My good woman, can't you see you're coming back? You're coming back to the sound of trumpets and violins. Don't be a coward, Hattie.
Very well. You'll come, Sam?
No, I'd spoil it. I'm no dancing master. It makes me sweat. Mr. Adare will take you.
Sam.
Won't be a woman there to match you, not by 1,000 miles. By gum, I'll be proud of you. Be the finish of all that. Here. Take these.
You keep them for me, Sam. I'll come to you when I need them.
No, I want you to have them. Here. Put them on your waist. Just as Millie did. You can't lose them that way. Nobody can take them from you. I'll get you a wonderful dress. I'll ride into Sydney today.
Better take me with you. Or better still leave it to Hattie and me.
Maybe you're right. I'd be better at ordering a set of harness. Let the cobbler stick to his last.
Oh, Hattie, I've just finished writing to my sister. Would you care to add a few words?
No, you write something for me.
All right. You dictate and I'll write. How do you want me to start? As I said in my last letter 15 years ago.
No. Say, Diana, my dearest friend. I hope I may still call you that. Your brother has no doubt told you something of my story. He cannot have told you. He does not know how grateful my husband and I feel towards him. And how happy we are that he's our guest.
She won't believe a word of that. She knows me too well.
He's our guest. I'm very fond of him. And you should be very proud of him. His visit means more to me than I can express. Someday, you must come to New South Wales, and I shall tell you the whole story.
Come on, Hattie. We mustn't keep the governor waiting.
How do I look, Sam?
All right.
All right. The lakes of Killarney are all right. Sunrise over the pyramids is all right. The Taj Mahal is all right. Oh, come, Sam. You must do better than that.
I was wondering if a bit of jewelry would help.
Do you think so, Sam?
Just an idea. A collar of rubies, maybe?
Rubies with that dress? Do you want your wife to look like a Christmas tree?
I think he's right, Sam. Rubies wouldn't go with this dress. Besides, I haven't any rubies.
Oh.
It's only a notion I had.
No, you look perfect as you are. Come on, we'll be late.
Goodbye, Sam.
Hurry, hurry.
Very pretty she looked, I must say. They made a handsome couple. I suppose it's in the blood. I've come back from her box. I start tomorrow at Mr. Corrigan's. The Attorney General only arranged it today. That's why I'm here so late. Can I stay the night in my old room? The cart's coming for my box first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Perhaps I could bring you something hot the way I used to do. The house has a chilly feel tonight, hasn't it? Mustn't have you catching cold, Mr. Flusky. You don't take enough care of yourself, that you don't. Though I'm sure her ladyship does her best, but perhaps her mind's a bit occupied these days. It's a good thing, poor soul. She looked lovely tonight. Like as if something new had come into her life. And there she is, going to the governor's ball. Wonders will never cease. The whole town talking about her ball dress and how beautiful it was. Mr. Adare, he ordered it himself, they're saying, him never out of the dressmaker's shop. And they were saying Mr. Adare should be a lady's maid, and it's funny, a manly young fellow like that taking so much trouble with a woman's frills. Not that there's any harm in it. They're gentry, you see. They don't have the same rules as us, Mr. Flusky. They take everything for granted. But here I'm talking on and on. It's the loneliness, I think. It's right that her ladyship should have a bit of pleasure so long as she doesn't lose her head. It's none of my business at all. And you wouldn't have let them go if there'd been any of that sort of thing. Well, you're not the sort to let a young spark play fast and loose with his wife. You're a man that respects himself, Mr. Flusky. That's why we all respect you. Leastways, nearly all of us. But it's wonderful that her ladyship should be out there, driving in her carriage through the darkness, and then into the lights and the music. They tell me there's a new kind of dance very fashionable these days. Men and women dance round in each other's arms till they're giddy. Or waltz, they call it. They wouldn't have that at the governor's ball. No decent woman would let a strange man be hugging her and her half naked and everybody looking on. And oh, Mr. Flusky, I've been worried to death. I hope you haven't been giving too much thought to what I said about Mr. Adare and her ladyship in her bedroom. I'm sure it wasn't her fault. Well, she wasn't what you'd call responsible at the time. I know she wasn't, because she had half her clothes off and didn't seem to notice. It was their taking so long to open the door that made me suspicious. But I may have been wrong. I pray that I was wrong.
I'm extremely sorry, sir, but you're not on the list.
You must be an extremely incompetent fellow. I shall most certainly report you to the governor.
I'm very sorry, sir. Charles Adare, lady. That's not my handwriting. He must have filled in this card himself. May I?
Indeed, you may, Major. But you'll find me terribly out of practice.
I've never seen her before.
She looks every inch a lady.
Perhaps she came with the governor's suite. It says she's Flusky's wife.
Who did you say?
Flusky's wife.
But she can't be. What should be doing here? Who is that exquisite creature?
Who do you mean, sir?
You know quite well who I mean. You can't keep your eyes off her yourself.
No, her, sir? I don't know, sir. I'll find out, sir.
May I speak to you for a moment, Your Excellency?
Yes, yes, what is it?
A rather awkward situation has arisen, sir. Would you be good enough to look at this card?
Well, this is absolutely intolerable.
You particularly said that he was not to be invited.
Of course I did. Where is the infernal fellow?
Evening, Your Excellency. It's a very festive occasion.
You seem to find it so. What are you doing here?
Nothing yet. I hope to do a little dancing.
You were not invited.
Wasn't I? Dear Banks, that's a shocking oversight on your part. And me an Irishman?
Banks had nothing to do with it. I cut out your name from the Irish Society list myself.
Why?
You know why. You disobeyed my orders. You're keeping bad company. And from all accounts, you're no better than your company. I should have sent you back to Ireland weeks ago.
Richard, all the reverence I owe to your high office. I have the honor to inform you that an old woman listen to idle gossip.
Whatever I listen to, I'm not going to listen to you. Take yourself out of here instantly. Instantly, do you hear?
I haven't just arrived.
If you're not out of this building in 2 minutes by that clock.
Your Excellency, may I present the Lady Henrietta Flusky?
Delighted. Hattie Considine. Well, well. I knew your father. I can't have met you before, or I'd have remembered you.
Yes, we have met. But handsome captains in His Majesty's Guard pay little attention to small girls in pinafores.
It's hard to believe that you were ever that.
How humiliating. I remember you perfectly. You took much more interest in our horses than you did in me.
You ride much nowadays?
No, I'm afraid my riding days are over.
Nothing of the sort. We must have a canter together one of these days. Will you do the honor of having supper with me?
I should be delighted, but Mr. Adare...
Lady Henrietta, I am broken-hearted. I just received some extremely urgent instructions, and I have no alternative but to obey them at once. I must take you home. Oh, I have my instructions from His Excellency in person. I fear we must go.
Now, look here, Charles.
No, sir. You've indicated that a matter even a minute is of vital importance.
Well, it's not so important.
It's most important to me. The 2 minutes have already gone. I owe it to myself to obey you.
Well, I can, well, someone else will.
Excuse me, sir. There's nobody else in my peculiar position. Lady Henrietta, I must respectfully urge you to bid His Excellency good night.
What am I to do?
You must do as I ask and take supper with me. Mr. Adare, if you had served in the army, you would know that when you receive conflicting orders, you must obey the most recent. I order you to remain. Lady Henrietta, may I have the privilege? Charles is my Aunt Clarice boy, you know. Extraordinary how slow it is to me. The army would have made a big difference to me.
Ah, Major Wilkins, I'm Mrs. Reed. You remember me?
Of course. May I?
Ah, thank you, sir.
Why, Sam, you changed your mind. It's all right. If you She's a friend of mine. Sam, it's worked. We're proud of her. Hattie's a tremendous success. She's just gone in to supper with the governor. Come and have a drink with me. I'll tell you all about it.
Where is she?
I told you, in the supper room with the governor. I wouldn't go in there, Sam. I tell you, she's had a triumph. You mustn't spoil it.
Spoil it? I see. I'm not good enough to stand beside my wife when she's with equality.
Don't be ridiculous, Sam. You aren't even dressed for a ball. It'd make her awkward. Sam, do be sensible.
Take your hands off. I don't want anything more from you.
I believe by the time I was 12, I had broken every bone in my body.
Marvelous. I can't imagine why you don't ride now. Perhaps your husband doesn't care for horses.
Oh, he loves horses. He's lived with them all... Sam. What a shock you gave me. Why... Sir Richard, may I present my husband? Oh, you're talking about horses. I was telling His Excellency
That I was brought up in a stable. I heard you.
Sir Richard bought Rogue's Pride after Father's death when the stable was broken up. You remember Rogue's Pride, don't you?
Yes.
Well, Sir Richard, I lamed him, and Father thought he would have to be shot, but Sam put him right, didn't you, Sam?
I did more than that for him. I brushed him, fed him, stabled him, and cleaned out his stall. Besides, I was only a groom, you see. She married beneath her.
No doubt.
I suppose I shouldn't be here among all you swells. In aid of charity, isn't it? Well, my money's as good as the next man's. The compliments of Mr. Samson Flusky, Esquire. It'll pay for my wife's supper. I don't suppose the young spark, your cousin, paid his shot. It'll do for him as well. He hasn't got a penny that I didn't give him. That's his mark, all right, not a penny.
I don't pretend to know what you think you're about, my man, but I assure you I have a pretty good memory for incidents of this sort. They tell me you're an emancipant. I needn't remind you that emancipation...
What induced him to do that? He urged me to go and then to spoil it all.
He's jealous.
Oh, jealous of what?
He knows he's inferior to you, and it fills him with black hatred. He's jealous of your shadow, jealous of your world. The man's mad. You can't stop with him. Just go back to Ireland.
He's suffered terribly. I've done him many and many a wrong. Wrong to love him. Wrong to marry him. No children. A burden when he was trying to save his soul in this new country. Why should he not hate me?
Your debt's paid, I tell you. It's done with, finished. You owe him nothing.
If you understood, you could not talk about owing a debt.
Sam is part of me, and I'm part of Sam forever and ever. And it was long ago, when I was very young, that I learned that. But it was true, and nothing can change it. We used to ride for miles and miles, and hours together. Sam 5 paces behind, silent and respectful like a good groom. And I shivering with delight because I knew of the love he had for me. My father never bothered how long we were away. He knew Sam was reliable, and that I would come to no harm. We would sit on the heather, overlooking Galway Bay and the ocean beyond. Still, deep and silent, as his love for me. I knew about love, you see, for they had talked of it to me in their soft, sweet, wheedling Irish voices. Oh, we never did speak. Till once, when we were in Dublin for the horse show. Yes, Sam was holding my horse in his outside a shop in Grafton Street. As he held the stirrup for me to mount, he suddenly said in his gruff voice, "This is killing me." And I said, "Oh, dear Sam, then I'll save you." That night, I took all the jewels I had brought for the Viceroy's ball, and we rode all the night through the cloudy smur of rain to Drogheda, and found a man with a fishing boat who took us across the channel to Scotland. There we found a horse dealer who sold us 2 beasts, who took us the long, rough ride to Gretna Green. And the blacksmith made us man and wife. And oh, but I was weary. We had our wedding breakfast in the little inn I was looking across the table at Sam. He was tired, too. But he was a tidy man who always liked to be busy, and he was cleaning and reloading the big horse pistol we'd brought with us, laughing, singing a funny little tune to himself. Then my brother Dermot came in. He was a hard rider, was Dermot. That was the only good thing about him. He had a pistol in his hand, and there was murder in his eyes, and he said to me, "Are you married then?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Then, by heaven, you shan't enjoy it." And he leveled his pistol at me. But Sam jumped across, covering me with his body. And I reached across for the horse pistol and shot Dermot dead. Under Sam's. Under Sam's. Oh. 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 He had a surprised look in his eyes when he crumbled up. His pistol went off as he fell. They found the bullet later in the window frame. And that saved Sam's neck, for he took the blame. Oh! I didn't know at first that he'd taken it on himself. I was ill, so ill. I knew nothing. My family kept everybody away from me. They wanted to avoid the scandal, you see. I was delirious for weeks, and then I heard what he had done for me. He was in chains, in a convict ship, half a world away from me. He wrote to me, "If you honor what has been between you and me, not a word, you must do this for me, my dear darling." But I couldn't speak after that. You understand that, don't you? I had to obey him. But I did the only thing I could. I followed him out here, and I spoke to him sometimes through the bars.
How did you live all those years?
What does that matter now? I thought it would comfort him to know that I was there. Charles, I had hoped to have a home for him when he came out, to make up for all that he had suffered. I thought we could start life afresh in this new country. But so many hideous things became part of that horrible little hut down by the docks. The sweating walls and the wood bugs and the smells. And the drunken screaming women. And the children raking the gutters for food. All that hot misery. It became me. Sam tried to make up for it when his time was finished, but it was no good, Charles, no good at all. Because it is part of me. Even now, I sometimes long to go down, 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 to where I can go no further, down, where nothing can hurt me anymore.
No man alive is worth that sacrifice. Do you think he understands what you've done? Oh, my darling, you still have some life to live. Come away from all this. When Sam blundered in that room this evening, he canceled everything you owed him.
No, Charles, no.
Oh, you don't know.
You couldn't do this sort of thing at Government House, sir. Get more privacy here. Get out.
Sam, you're making a dreadful mistake.
Hear what I said? Yes, you great loud, I heard. You better hear what I've been saying to her. You're not worth the sacrifice she made. She owes you nothing at all.
Charles, please, let's talk about it tomorrow.
You'll not stay here another night.
I'll leave her alone with you.
Husband,
Get out of this house.
Please, Sam, you don't understand.
Get out!
Remember this, you blundering fool. I'll be back tomorrow, and if you...
Sam, how can he get back to Sydney?
Let him walk. I don't care how he gets back.
Sam. Oh, he's taking your mare. She's savage. Stop him, Sam, stop him. He's no horseman, he'll be killed.
Well, let him.
I don't understand you. What has happened to you tonight? You've never been like this before. You behaved like a madman at the ball, and you're behaving like a madman now. What is the matter with you?
You know what's the matter with me. Your fancy man knows, too. Do you think you can do this to me, you trash?
Better see to your mare. She came round at the gate. I couldn't get close to her. She's thrashing about her. She can't stand her. She's broken her leg, I think.
That's all it wanted, by thunder.
Where is he going?
I don't know. I don't care. She always broke my neck.
He's going to shoot her. Oh, you don't know what it means to me.
You gentlemen. You bloody murdering gentlemen. Haven't gone yet? You lose your new job?
First things come first, Mr. Flusky. You'll need someone by you now you've all this trouble. It's terrible you suffering from the interference of others. I mean, Mr. Adare, of course. I've told you about him. You can count on me, Mr. Flusky.
Where is she?
Lady Henrietta hasn't seen Mr. Adare yet. She says she'll wait until she does. Is Miss Millie going to stay after all?
Can't I see Mr. Adare? I have waited for hours.
We've had strict orders not to admit you, Lady Henrietta.
I knew something like this would happen. I knew it. What possessed me to bring this irresponsible idiot with me, I don't know. Charles, I'm sorry. I have my duty to do. The Attorney General is here. We want your statement about Flusky's assault upon you.
Now, look here, sir, you must not make him talk. His life is in danger. Don't you understand?
You needn't think that you're protecting this woman. If you die, you'll have no say in the matter.
I won't have very much, will I?
Charles, this is no laughing matter.
I quite agree with you.
With all respect, Your Excellency, he must go now. He's lost a great deal of blood. His only hope is to rest. You must go now.
I thought I gave orders in this infernal place. Where's the Attorney General? Oh, there you are. Come along. We must do as we're told.
How is he?
You better ask the doctor. So far as I'm concerned, I can tell you this. If Charles gets better, I shall send him home in disgrace. If he dies, I shall hang your husband. Whatever happens, I will not have a violent brute like Mr. Flusky traipsing about my colony. He'll go back to the convict settlement where he belongs.
Oh, that is impossible.
No, it isn't impossible, believe me. In this colony, a convict or an emancipist is only allowed his freedom, providing that he behaves himself.
But it was an accident. He was not to blame. It was nobody's fault.
My dear lady, I had an admirable chance of forming my opinion of Mr. Flusky last night. He's known as a violent fellow. He narrowly escaped the scaffold.
No, he's not that kind of a man.
He's an ex-convict, and this is his second offense.
It was all wrong.
He should never have been a convict.
Good heavens, madam. He shot your own brother.
No. No, I shot my brother.
You know what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, I know. Sam took the blame. I promised him I would never let it be known. Maybe he'll forgive me when he knows why.
But Lady Hetty, if you persist in this story, I shall have to do my duty. I'm an old soldier. I've only one religion, my duty. The Attorney General will tell you what my duty will be.
Yes, His Excellency is quite right, naturally. If you adhere to your confession of a capital crime, I'm of the opinion that it will necessitate your returning to Ireland to stand your trial.
It's the truth, I must tell you. Sam and I ran away. You know about that. We went to Gretna Green. I hired a gig to bring me out. He wouldn't let me see Charles. They think he may die. If he lives, he'll be sent back home in disgrace. They seem to think it would be better if he died. I saw the governor. The Attorney General was there too. What is it? His name? Corrigan. Yes, that was it, Corrigan. Neither of them believed the word I said. It was like a bad dream. They're going to send me back to Ireland. You see, I told them that I had shot Dermot. I know, Sam. I know I broke my word to you, but it had to be. It was the only way. Oh, God, the relief. The blessed heavenly relief.
So it's to Ireland, is it? That's why they're sending you back. You've surely arranged that well, you and the high and mighty governor. The Honorable Mr. Charles Adare gets packed off home and her ladyship follows after. And what do? Sit here and mind the house until you've played the game out in Dublin? Keep this fireside cozy until your fancy man gets tired of you and pitches you out?
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. If you think that, then Sam, come with me.
Come with you to what? For what, to be a stable boy again, to trade all this for that? After all the time it's taken me, you want me to chuck it out now? Well, I won't. You've wasted the years I did for you. You've been fool enough to spill your story, so you pay for it this time, not me.
Sam, I did it for you. They would have prosecuted you.
Be hanged for a tale. I saw you the other night. You've been mighty clever. Well, you go with your jumping jack and see how well you like it. I'm done with you.
Oh, no, Sam. Sam, you don't know what you're saying. Sam, it's all wrong. It's wrong. Oh, no.
Don't take it too seriously, madam. I wouldn't. He doesn't mean half he says. You look ill. Don't you think you should have something to drink?
I didn't know you were left-handed.
Neither did I. It's fortunate, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. It's an infernally hot evening. We shall have a storm. I've just seen the doctor. He says you're much better. Lucky devil.
Oh, I'm all right. I'm to go out next week.
And what are we to do with you then? What am I to say to your father and Aunt Clary? I shall have to send you home, you realize.
Oh, yes, yes, sir.
Now, you may think you're the devil of a fellow, but I can't afford scandals in my colony. It's awkward, too. Naturally, you and her ladyship can't go back on the same ship.
What do you mean? She left him after all. Is she going home?
She's being sent home. But that's no affair of yours. You leave it to Corrigan and me.
What's that dirty little blackguard got to do with it?
Mr. Corrigan has his duty to do, the same as the rest of us, however unpleasant that duty may be.
What is this?
What are you doing to her?
She's confessed to the crime that Flusky was sent out here for. According to her, she shot her brother.
Confessed? That's an extraordinary thing for her to do. Is she all right? I mean, is she...
You better ask the doctor. He's on his way out there now. It appears that she's gone back to some of her old habits. Well, you really must excuse me now. I'm glad you're so much better.
Good night, Doctor. Good night. The doctor's gone. Dinner will be ready soon.
What did he say?
Can I sit down? He wouldn't believe how bad she was. Told him she was seeing things. It's the horrors back again. You know, what she had before. He strengthened her sleeping draught. Strong stuff it is, too. 5 drops in 4 hours.
What else did he say?
Well, she was at him about when she'd be fit to travel.
What did he say?
Not much. He held her off. Knows more than he cares to say, and him so close to Government House. One thing, though, that Adare's getting better. It's a load off my mind. Still, the Lord works in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. It'll all turn out for the best. Once her ladyship's gone, you'll be able to get some peace. You've never known peace, have you, Mr. Flusky?
I'm going with her.
You're going with her?
Yes, I must, the way she is.
But the house, Mr. Flusky, what'll you do with the house?
I'll sell everything.
But you'll be done for if you go. Somebody here, you'll be nobody there.
I know all that. Nothing matters now, anyhow.
She'll have her friends. They won't do anything to an earl's daughter. Leave it to her lords and ladies. Mr. Adare should be all right. It's madness to go, Mr. Flusky. Don't do it, sir. Stay here with me. I'll look after you. I'll work to the death for you. You know I will. Don't do it, Mr. Sam.
Made up my mind. Never known me to go back on that.
Millie! Millie!
I'll go.
You can't go up now, Mr. Flusky. She's in no condition to see you.
Shut the windows.
I'm in charge of her ladyship. Leave her to me, Mr. Flusky.
You do as you're told. Patty. Patty. Patty.
Sam, come to me. Come close to me. I want to speak to you. Please make it go away, please. Make it go away.
What's the matter?
There, on the bed. It is always there, always the same, grinning at me.
There's nothing there. Pull yourself together.
You must shoot it, Sam. Don't you see it? Charles saw it. He shot it and it went away.
He saw nothing. He was only humoring you. It's all in your mind, Hattie. There's nothing there, I tell you. Here. See for yourself. There's nothing there. You've been dreaming. The wind blew the candles. Shadows moved. Can't you see what you're doing to yourself? Face it, face up to it. If you go on like this, you'll go off your head.
Now then, Lady Henrietta, you mustn't give way. I've brought you something to drink. Take this. Then you can go to bed and sleep. Drink it all down.
Sam!
Quiet now. You'll wake the whole house.
You know what, Mr. Flusky? Sam!
Stop it, Auntie.
Sam!
Dreaming about nothing at all. Making an exhibition of yourself. There's nothing to be afraid of.
What's the matter? What is it?
She's terribly dead.
Have you sent this woman here to kill me?
What are you talking about?
She's not responsible, Mr. Flusky.
She tried to make me take the sleeping draught, all of it in that glass. I saw it.
Now what did you make me do?
The basket. Look in the basket.
So this is the way of it, is it? You'd work to the death on me, eh? The death, all right.
You drove me to it. How could I let you go? Did you think I'd stand by and see you sacrifice yourself? I know the Lord's way when I see it.
I can't make it out. Hattie, you don't think that...
No, of course not. No, but ask her why she did it. I thought she was my...
I'm not your friend. She was ruining you and ruining herself while I helped her.
You gave her the drink all along.
Amelia, I don't understand it. Are you in love with him? Don't dare to say that. The Lord will never forgive you for saying that. But all this time, you've been trying to kill me.
You were trying to kill yourself.
When I was wretched and despaired, you brought me the stuff. Every night, more and more.
You wanted it?
Yes, I wanted it. And you wanted me to be what I've come to be, so that my husband should hate me. You chose a kinder way tonight. Don't listen to her. She's mad. It's the drinking. The doctor said it had come to this in the end. The Lord's punished her.
That's that foolery. I've seen what you were trying to do.
I want to know, Sam. Really, what kind of love drives you to make such horrible things to do so? I don't understand that kind of love. When you and I speak of love, we don't mean the same thing. You knew that, Sam, didn't you? Whatever has happened to us, you knew that. Why did you want to kill me? Do you think he could love a murderess?
He married one. Oh, no, Mr. Flusky. I'm not good enough for you, I know that. I'm only good enough to work for you. And slave for you. And look after your drunken... No!
Oh, Sam, let her go. She can do us no harm now.
Shall I take your cloaks, gentlemen?
No.
You're abroad late, gentlemen.
Yes, I thought it better to come at night. The governor is anxious to avoid scandal, if possible.
What do you want?
We want a statement from you, Flusky.
Come into my room.
No. We can put it into legal form later on. You are no doubt aware that your wife has confessed to the murder of her brother. We require you corroborate her statement. This will help to make the proceedings more expeditious. It will avoid painful delays. It will also, I may tell you, gain you a free pardon.
I must help you to hang my wife, eh? Neat and quick to save you trouble.
I should hardly put it in that way.
It comes to this. You can do nothing to her without my evidence.
In a sense, yes.
I'll put it another way. You can take yourselves out of here.
Very well, then. I have to inform you that a warrant has been issued for your arrest for the attempted murder of Charles Adare. If you persist in your attitude, that warrant will be put into execution immediately.
That was an accident.
I have also to remind you that you are an ex-convict and that this is New South Wales. You are a second offender. You know what that means?
Yes, I know what that means.
You have been guilty of an act of violence. For that alone, we could hang you out of hand. But I don't think we shall do that. We shall merely return you to those activities with which you are thoroughly familiar. You should find it easy enough to readapt yourself to the simple routine of the chain gang.
But I didn't shoot Mr. Adare. What does he say himself? I tell you it was an accident.
That is as it may be. I've been very generous to you, Flusky. I've given you a chance to prove that you are not, in fact, an ex-convict. That would make a difference, you know. A vast difference. I shall give you until tomorrow morning to think over what I said to you. Good night.
What is it, Sam? Who are these men?
Corrigan and his assistant.
What do they want?
Nothing. I was in no mood to listen to their legal jargon. I sent them packing.
Oh, they can't touch you now. I have confessed.
Yes, you've confessed.
Well, what else do they want?
They want my evidence, too. You were determined to risk your neck for me, weren't you?
What else could I do?
No. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. All along, we've sacrificed ourselves for each other. There must be an end to it. The law said a killing was done. The law said a killing was paid for. Why must they go on and on and on at it?
Nobody can touch you. Nobody can hurt you. I'm safe with you now. We shall always be together. Shh.
Don't talk. Tomorrow will look after itself. Don't talk anymore tonight.
Escort, halt, wait. Stand your horses. Prepare to mount. Up you get, sir. Get up behind, Bill.
Hold your head high, Hattie. We aren't beaten yet.
All right there, Bill. Right away then.
Winter, order the carriage. I'm going into Sydney. What's the good of talking like that? They're treating him like an ex-convict, and they have no right to do that.
Mr. Corrigan gave him his opportunity last night. He has only to say one word.
I saw him this morning. He will never do that.
And he will stay where he is.
Oh, Sir Richard, don't you see that I'm desperate? What do you want me to do? I have confessed that I killed Dermot to show you that Sam should never have been in prison at all. I've told you the truth about how Mr. Adare was shot. Hasn't Mr. Adare told you?
Mr. Adare is a sick man. We shall get his story in good time. In the meantime, it isn't necessary. The servants heard high language and a pistol shot. I saw the man myself an hour before it happened. He was capable of anything. But this is intolerable. What are you doing here? Why are you out of bed?
Hattie, they told me you'd come. I heard you were ill. What's all this about a confession?
No, I'm not ill. How are you, Charles?
Why are you here?
They put Sam in prison.
I don't understand. What's happened?
Our friend is cooling his heels in the city jail. You should be the last to object to that.
You've helped me. More than anybody knows. Help me now. Tell them that they must set Sam free. Tell them what happened. They must set him free. Give him back to me, Charles. They say that he tried to kill you. Tell them that it was an accident.
Whatever happened, he is better within four walls. It's safer for you, it's better for me, and better for Lady Henrietta, if I may say so. This murderous...
No. Sir Richard, Mr. Adare, no.
Lady Henrietta, you know what happened. I know what happened. Have you anything to say, Charles? If so, please give your account now and get out of my office.
Well, when I took Lady Henrietta home, after the ball, Flusky came back shortly after. He was angry. Very angry. You know that, Richard, you saw him. Never mind why, but he ordered me out of the house. I took his mare and started back for Sydney. It was pitch dark. We ran into a fence, a closed fence. I couldn't see. We landed up in a ditch. I was shaken, but the horse broke one of its forelegs. I made my way back and told Flusky. He went off and got a pistol. Then he went out and shot the poor beast. When he came back, I took hold of the pistol. It was a large double-barreled one. I handled it clumsily and took a charge in my shoulder, that's all.
Lady Henrietta said there was a quarrel.
Was there? Did she say that? Well, Flusky wasn't exactly delighted at losing his favorite mare. He probably said so, I forget.
I may tell you, sir, that I don't believe a word of your story, not a word.
Nevertheless, that will be my evidence.
On your word of honor, as a gentleman. Is that all that happened that night?
As a gentleman.
Capricorn, we shall have to release him.
But, Your Excellency, it's not so simple as that. To begin with.
Do as I say. Lady Henrietta, as you are no doubt satisfied that I've done all I can for you, will you please go away? I'm too busy to entertain ladies.
I can understand that, sir. I'm very much obliged.
Bye, Sam.
Mr. Adair, got a lot to make up to you. Goodbye for now, sir.
I'll be the first man to go back to the old country without making a fortune. I'll be the Rage of Dublin. Goodbye, Hetty.
Goodbye, Charles. Don't forget me.
I won't ever forget you.
We'll be sorry to lose you, sir.
If I may say so, Winter, I'm sorry to go. Got a mad place. I just said there's some future for it. There must be. It's a big country.
Then why are you leaving, sir?
That's just it, Winter. It's not quite big enough. Bye. Good luck.